But the pace in the chasing pack, I think, will pick up as Majic and Saarinen push it. And they're trying to close down on the Olympic 30-kilometre classic champion, Justyna Kowalczyk.
I'm surprised to see Petra Maric, if this reading is right. I know it's about 20-second delay. I jumped up to 88% there, but Petra Maric was an 83% of her maximum. I would expect her up around 90.
Yeah, well, the accuracy of that reading all depends on the accuracy of the level of maximum pulse that Petra Maric gave the officials. She may say that my maximum is 210, in which case 83% is going to be right up there. But, of course, on each given day, your maximum pulse changes according to your physical condition. Not much, but it will vary enough to give us a slight, mislead us a little bit with those readings.
Yeah, many factors. I saw Jakobsen there in red on her right side of screen. She tried to get into the faster track. It's been skied in, so clearly it's a little slower out front for the first lap for Kowalczyk.
Well, it doesn't seem to have done her any damage at all. Here she is, but the chasing group are in the mist in the background. You can see them some 45 metres behind, and they'll be desperately looking for a decent run, a decent track to gain that ground on Kowalczyk.
Well, the next split isn't until the hill, the lower part of the hill climb again. But they're definitely closing in on Kowalczyk.
10 kilometres the distance for today's race. The winning time last year, well, the fastest time was 27:42. And that came from Aina Kaiser Saarinen, who may well record the fastest time again. There she is, leading the chase group. She needs the rest to do their share. Jakobsen, Majic, Kalla all need to offer to go through if they're going to close down on Kowalczyk. And if they let Kowalczyk get a lead of some 30 seconds today, Mike, plus the 15 seconds that she'll get for winning, they really are in trouble.
They're restricting their odds, and with the classic sprints tomorrow, we know that Kowalczyk is a great sprinter, but in the last couple of World Cup sprints, she's made errors, tactical errors, and well, she finished in third in Davos, but was demoted to 6th for infringement in the last 50 metres.
But if Kowalczyk can keep herself out in front and have a very easy last lap without overextending herself, her muscles will be in much better condition for the sprints tomorrow, which incidentally take place in Oberstdorf. They've got a bit of driving to do tonight from the eastern side of Germany over to the western side. Of course, Oberstdorf, the first venue for the Four Hills. And if you are a fan of the ski jumping, do stay tuned after the cross-country races, because we're heading off to Garmisch for phase 2 of the Four Hills. David Goldstrom is ready to go down there in Garmisch, Partenkirchen. And should be an exciting race to see if Tommy Morgenstern can make it 2 out of 2 for this season.
Therese Johaug, there she is. Tempo, absolute work rate, and closing the gap on the chasing pack.
Yeah, she started down in 22nd place, 30 seconds off the leaders. She had a phenomenal run last year, went from 37th all the way up into 17th, so gained 20 places. If she can do the same today, she'll be on the or in the top 3.
I expected us to see Shevchenko after one lap featuring. I think she is closing down on the chasing group.
Well, 12 seconds between the banner and the timing wand here. The chasing group, by my recognition, are approximately 16, 17 seconds down on the leader Kowalczyk, who is still pulling clear and now taking advantage of the fact that she's racing in quick tracks as well.
I see Shevchenko's legs just coming under the banner now, so she is closing down on this lead group. If there's connection made from the second or the third chasing group, it's going to be a very exciting finish. It's only 4.4 kilometres done.
24, and trying to make up time that was lost yesterday is Marianne Longa of Italy. She's got herself within 4 or 5 seconds of the chasing group, but that is a much bigger margin than we're expecting between Kowalczyk and the rest. 22 seconds at the moment. Don't forget, she'll get another 15 seconds given to her if she wins today, and could find herself over 30 seconds clear after only 2 legs. Katrin Zeller, lots of phlegm around the mouth, Mike, which might indicate that she's not in the best of health, but one of the world's best biathletes, Bjorndalen, was always famous for that, but he still seemed to be able to win. That was Denise Herrmann cruising along wearing 7. She had a superb race yesterday. In fact, got a PB finishing in 7th. But she's a very, very good freestyle skier, but hasn't really mastered the classic as yet. Well, this is the chasing pack. Nice to see Jakobsen has managed to hang in there. At the moment, Charlotte Kaller is struggling with the pace that they're setting, and the Italians, with Follis and Longa, are starting to make advances. Number 5 is Yulia Shikalova of Russia. Hasn't done anything spectacular so far today, Mike, but she's very good at both disciplines.
I love the way that Saarinen really reaches out when she's in good form, and she is on at the moment. She strides out so far, covers so much ground, and for a very short, well, not a very tall athlete. She's only 1.58 m, so she covers the distance. We'll just get another look on this next uphill climb. And I think she's now, Saarinen, beginning to make the rest of this chase pack really, really hard. And once you lose contact, well, you just mentally, you're broken.
So in the chase pack that you can see in the background, Kowalczyk going through 22 seconds was the margin at the last stop. You can see Saarinen leading the chase pack. Magic out on the right side. Jakobsen of Norway just behind her. Then Kaller, who started in 2nd today. Lehtomäki of Finland having a very good run indeed. Made a lot of ground early on. I think just trying to recover from that sort of effort, just sticking in behind. Someone's got to make a positive move. And all the time, the second chasing group are closing on the first. It's going to turn into a fascinating finish. Number 24, that is Mariana Longa of Italy. Right behind her, I think that was that Arianna Follis. We'll just pick up on the numbers. Follis wearing 17. She was right up there when we last saw her. It is Follis who's closing up on the leaders.
It looks like Lehtomäki having to put a snowplow in to break her glide, faster skis. But look how close this is. You've got to get on the tails of the skis of the athlete ahead of you.
Yeah, that is Follis wearing 17. She's having a very good run. 33-year-old now, hugely experienced. She held her own in this race last year, but she finished 4th in the prologue. So she's had a much tougher job this year, having finished down in 17th and a margin of 28 seconds behind the leaders.
I think in this second chasing group, in 4th position, the small figure of Therese Johaug, she's going to bridge the gap to the next group.
Yeah, Johaug is one of those athletes who just inspires you to try harder than you thought was possible, because she gives absolutely everything whenever you see her out on the racetracks. Fascinating athlete, and of course came to our notice back in 2007 in Sapporo when she came through to claim a medal in the World Championships over 30 kilometers, and it was all down to grit and determination.
Kaller hasn't given. I thought earlier that maybe Kaller had been broken, but she's not. She's in 2nd place now. Saarinen having to break into the herringbone run slightly earlier.
Well, Kowalczyk has had the tracks all to herself so far, but the danger of being out front, Mike, is that you push too hard too early and you suffer in the latter stages of the race.
Well, Petra Madic exchanging words there with Follis.
Arianna Follis is going to take no nonsense from Petra Madic. She may be a much smaller figure, but Follis has been around long enough to know the rules of the tracks, and she was quite within her rights there. I
didn't see what happened, but Follis, she nearly had the ski pole pulled out of her hand. Luckily, the Velcro managed to hold on there.
Yeah, Magic's, I think maybe just a little bit uncomfortable with the fact that she's struggling with this pace, an indication that her form is not as it was at the end of last year. You maybe remember Petra from the Olympic Games, where she skied into the ditch just before the sprint Olympic finals, still came through to compete. It was an astonishing effort, lots of drama, a little bit of melodrama, but you take nothing away from her. She really dug deep to get that medal, and then of course had to retire from the rest of the games.
She did, and in fact she was going to finish at the end of last season, but because of that incident, she said, well, I can't leave cross-country skiing on that image of me falling down a 4-meter banking, breaking some ribs, but even though still winning the bronze medal.
Yeah, so the likelihood is that she'll retire at the end of this season, and I think that may happen if she has a successful World Championships in Oslo at the end of February.
Quite likely she will, certainly in the classic races. Kowalczyk there on her own with her Polish fans in the woods. She's amazing. She hasn't let this field, the serious attack that the field are trying to create, to close this gap, they're not making an impression at all.
Yeah, this is building up to a massive sprint for the minor placings. They're making no impression at the moment on Kowalczyk, and if Kowalczyk can extend her lead to some 40 seconds, then she really will be in a strong position for the rest of the tour. Remember, 27 minutes 48 seconds, 42 seconds was the quickest time last year. So they've got another 8, 9, maybe another 10 minutes. The conditions aren't particularly quick today because of all the fresh snow that we had yesterday, but I don't imagine it will be much slower than 28 minutes.
One athlete we must highlight, Patrick, from position 48 up into 18th, it's Masako Ishida, of course a classic specialist from Japan.
Yeah, she's got herself to within 35 seconds, and she started over 45 seconds outside the leaders, so travelling better than anyone else. That's not particularly comfortable on the left foot of Kowalczyk. Not really well supported. I think, what's that called, pronation?
Huge pronation there. The tracks are cut so that they are flat, but Kowalczyk, her left ankle, you can see it sloping in there quite badly. It's not affecting her, though.
No, it's certainly not slowing her down, but she won't get as much grip. Saarinen and Kalle still working absolutely flat out in their bid to try and close down. Magic, you get the impression she's hanging on. Jakobsen has done well to stay in there. Theresa Johaug, number 22, has made great ground. And at the back, number 24, that, of course, Mariana Longa, who we picked up earlier, starting to work well with her teammate, Ariana Follish. Two potential top 3 finishers for the Tour de Ski. Whether anyone can catch this woman, I'm not sure, because Kowalczyk is on such good form.
The other thing here, Patrick, with Kowalczyk likely to pick up this extra 15 seconds. There's Mariana Longa. Look at the slipping. That is very frustrating when the skis slip backwards. You put all your force into sliding the foot forward.
Yeah, but she seems to be gripping with the left, slipping with the right. Not a good combination, but she has to think positively and realise that if she can keep the pressure on the right ski on the downhill, she's going to go a little bit faster than the rest.
Hey, look at this, Theresa Johaug. She has bridged the gap from the third chasing group to the now almost the lead of the second chase group.
Yeah, Shikalova started steady, but is now getting back into contention. Rita-Lisa Ropinen of Finland, wearing 4 at the back of that chasing pack, is still there and could still play a part in the sprint for second and third place. No one is going to catch Kowalczyk at this rate. 20:56 on the clock at the moment.
Kowalczyk has made 14 seconds in the last lap on her group of 11 challengers, led still by Aino-Kaisa Saarinen of Finland.
So over 35 seconds the margin between Kowalczyk and Saarinen. Just looking further down the field, Anna Haag, number 15 at the moment, 1:06 behind. Anna Haag comes from Mora, which of course is the finish of the great Vasaloppet race, which takes place on the first Sunday in March. That is the classic to do, rather like maybe the New York Marathon. But the Vasaloppet, 92 kilometres. Just had a look at the record time, 3 hours 38 minutes for 92 kilometres. Absolutely staggering.
It's a fairly flat 92 kilometres, but it's an incredible pace that these cross-country skiers can maintain for, well, those incredible distances.
Yeah, that's under 2.5 minutes per kilometre, so 25 minutes for 10k. They're clocking something like 25, 26 kilometres for the full 90. And an event well worth having a go at. 15,000 people all setting out on the tracks together.
Lots of British skiers taking part in that event as well. There's over 150 this year, I've heard, have entered. Saarinen keeps on trying. She, on these short, sharp climbs, she gets a couple of meters lead, but then the pack close her down on the more gentle terrain. Kala nearly fell over forwards.
Yeah, little lapse in concentration, just or may possibly have planted the poles on a softer bit of snow where someone else had put them and found them going down a couple of inches deeper than normal. Kala has certainly upped the pace now as she sets out to chase down Justyna Kowalczyk, but this group really getting tied up in a battle between themselves. They've almost forgotten about the race leader here. It's almost as if they've said second place is good enough. 20.56 for Kowalczyk going through. The margin now 37.8 seconds, and Kowalczyk almost